That feels pretty good. I think you could maybe pass me if I was on the toilet.
Yep.
Nice day out, huh?
Yeah, I got a great view. Got some breeze happening, and oh hey, I didn't notice you there.
This is where things are gonna get really interesting. We're working on making our composting toilet, and the space is pretty tight.
Pretty is an understatement.
That's where we're gonna put the turd hole. Yeah, I don't know if pretty is the word for toilet, but
I think it's gonna be gorgeous. A piece of art, a work of art, if you will, once we're done with it. But
look how much space we have. This is gonna get interesting, guys. So we had to make a project detour. We were working on our counter, and the epoxy took a lot longer than we expected. It takes 48 hours to dry, and instead of doing just like 1 or 2 pours, we had to do a 3rd pour. So this video is gonna be late. What do you think, Garcia?
all right, so as you know, or if you're not building a schoolie yet and have never stayed in an RV before, things can be kind of tight at times, and we're kind of working with the space that we have because, hey, that's just what you do. So we're working on the composting toilet factor, the size. We looked up sizes for how high they need to be, how far they need to be from the walls, what your shoulder space needs, and we're working on getting that to fit in this spot right here with using a HEPVO valve, because we're going to use the WePee as our urine diverter to hold the urine in the holding tanks underneath the schoolie, and have that situated with the bucket. And then also we want to throw in a little curveball and have a built-in like squatty potty type feature that will pull out to have the knees higher for a better pooping experience. So we have no idea if this is actually gonna work. And I think that we just need to start cutting some pieces and make a box first to have the prototype for the height and the space, and then after that go with the design aspect of it, because most of the composting toilets that we've used, like throughout Central America, South America, and even Mexico, are the box type, where the toilet seat is actually flush with the front edge of the toilet. So imagine it being just flush there on the front. And it's not very comfortable at all because your heels need to come back a little bit. So we're wanting to create like an inset front area, like a real toilet essentially, but in a composting variety. So I don't know, we'll see how this works. After doing some research, the turd hole, the actual hole that's in the toilet, needs to be between 10 and 12 inches from the wall so that the seat back can rest against the wall and your turds fall in the right direction in the right order. So that's what
I think that leaves room for splashback.
Yeah!
The splatters.
Yeah, what's crazy about that is we won't have water in there. Well, it'll be like peat moss or maybe some sawdust or something. So now the WePee urine diverter will need to be up and under that area. Let me move this like that, just a little bit. Up and under that area in the front third of the toilet.
You have to make sure when you place your urine diverter that it's low enough so you make room for male anatomy.
Sitting here, dropping a coiler, pre-build. Yeah, the old low angle dangle, as I like to call it.
You need room for male anatomy. We've been in some situations where
I've teabagged the funnel, all right? Coming clean. Okay, it was gross.
That's gross.
Were you going to say it more softer?
I didn't know how to say it because I don't have those bits, so. How do you feel for space?
As for space, like we've done a lot of research for toilet compartment sizing, and we've got plenty of shoulder space. To the wall, you want about 15 inches of space between the middle of the hole and the wall. That way there's enough shoulder space. So because we're in our skoolie and it's a pretty tight environment, we're designing this to be able to accomplish all those things. Even though we've got the shower wall here, there's plenty of space in front of us, plenty of shoulder space obviously going out this direction. So our only real concern is being too close or too far from the wall on both this side and then also on the back side. So let's see how this all plops together. There we go, there's 2 pieces, 16.5 each. Let's make 2 more. There's those.
That works.
Yeah.
Top of that.
This will be resting on that. Yeah, so
And then this one is gonna craig jig into that one.
craig jig into that one.
Woohoo! Crapper!
That's a proper crapper.
Crappy tire. This film is not brought to you by Crappy Tire.
Yeah, not sponsored. We're gonna throw a crap in it, all right. That works.
Oh wow.
How's that feel?
I got loads of space. Dropping loads of space. I don't know if I should be putting all my weight on that. That's great. And you're not too close to this. You got tons of room over here. Oh, I wonder if our little sawdust thing could go over here.
Yeah.
But that's kind of more like where the toilet paper would go.
Yeah.
Maybe it still has space over here. That's kind of... I really am hung up on using this lid for the sawdust bin. So there's that.
The space to walk in here. Like it is tight, but like you gotta put your throne somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Ew, that's not gonna work.
A little tight.
Well, it needs to be wider, so let's see if we can move this piece over a little bit. Let's see how much space we actually need for that inside edge there. This needs to go, oh, there we go. I just needed to move a little bit. So that can sit right there. That could sit snug as a bug right there. There we go, right there.
Sweet. How about the pipe? Does the pipe get in the way of the legs?
That's the next hurdle.
Turtle.
The next
Okay.
dang old hurdle.
Okay, so what's happening is now that there's a leg here, this pipe is getting in the way of proper bucket placement. So what we're gonna do is remove this leg and put in a little thing here and then just move the leg over so that the pipe has more space and the bucket will be able to be properly lined up because you don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, so what do you think if it moves over by maybe its width so
Yep.
that this edge is right here?
Yep. And
Okay.
then we'll be able to
Perfect.
push that over a bit.
Nice. take 3.
We may not put another leg here. We decided that the plywood that we're putting around this is probably going to be strong enough.
Yeah, because it'll have the plywood face on it, and so it'll absorb any weight that happens on this corner, and it'll transfer it down through this leg, and then we'll be able to screw the legs to the floorboards, and then also screw this to the wall, to the furring strip, and also to this back cabinet, which will make it nice and solid. Yes. And then we'll also be able to have a little 12-volt fan on the inside that's an exhaust fan. We're gonna get one of those that are like the super quiet version, so that it always has just a negative pressure happening here, because it'll be blowing air from the inside out. So even while this is down, even though there's a little bit of room in between the toilet seat and the wood, it'll be drawing fresh air through this area out to the outside, which creates a negative pressure inside the box and will prevent any lingering smells from escaping the box.
HEPA recommends that you clean the valve about once a month, which is a little bit special.
Seems a little excessive.
Seems excessive, but there's like a little diaphragm inside of there, so the weight of the liquid opens it and then to go through it. So they recommend that you clean the like tight end of it once a month. So we're trying to design this so everything's really easy to clean and not messy.
All right, so we had thought about a few different things with our composting toilet. One of the things we were thinking about is just buying a composting toilet, like a Nature's Head or one of those Airhead toilets.
Yeah, but they were like $1,000, so we flushed that idea and decided to start rummaging around for what we had. Plus, this urine diverter right here was only like 30 bucks.
I think it was 30 or 40 bucks. We bought it online from the WeP website, came from the UK.
Yep.
Took a couple weeks to arrive, but it was over international water sort of thing.
Yep.
And we had time.
Yeah, so with all the materials pooled together, we think that we're gonna slide in under 60 bucks instead of 1,000. So
yeah.
I'd say that's solid savings when you still have a lot of components to buy.
Exactly. So if you've got to drop a lot of cash and you don't want to flush it down the toilet, then maybe making your own composting toilet might be a great idea.
Something kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice!
nice job. Good clearance.
And then these ones go straight down. I don't know.
Good job.
So the idea is that the box is as smooth as possible on the inside, because when we clean it, we're going to want that in the future. I know it. So putting the Craig jig holes on the posterior side is better. And then what we're gonna do, I think, is epoxy the whole inside and all around the surround of the toilet to be nice and smooth. Not quite like porcelain, but maybe.
So that'll be the back side there.
Back side of the turtle.
Darn tootin'. We're gonna hang off the 1/2 inch on that side. I imagine that we probably could have just taken this off, this leg off, right?
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Craig G!
That's all it is.
because then we're not getting too much stuff stuck and caked on that edge. Now that's a flush trim bit.
That's right, Erin. That right there is called a flush trim bit.
And it wasn't even a toilet joke.
Exactly.
Its name was just flush.
It's called a flush trim bit on purpose.
Let's use it.
All right, folks. When you're using flush trim bits, be sure to wear your pro. Did it scrape it a lot?
Scrape the whole face.
I was holding it too long on the spot then. All right. I'll try to go faster on this one. That was a little better.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice work.
Yeah. That's a good looking toilet hole.
Okay, so this thing is actually going to take up a little bit of space. We actually might need to get the router and sink down about that thick into the wood so that this piece sits flush against everything else. Because if not, it's going to be popped up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Countersunk we pee.
Shizzle, we pizzle. Nice, that's solid.
Here we pee. Oh, look at that. Little cutie. Cutie toilet tootie.
Oh, that is solid. That is one solid throne. Nice. Dropping some turds off. I feel like I've got plenty of room to like comfortably drop.
Stop. This is great. Really good. I have loads of space.
Loads.
Dropping loads of space here. That's awesome. So now we just have to figure out the details of our little squatty potty.
What's it like to walk by it?
I mean, that's pretty tight, but in an RV, there's a lot tighter spaces in RVs, so I feel like we gave ourselves a pretty good amount of space.
And in a van?
Oh my God.
If this was in a Sprinter van, what would be going on?
You'd be like, probably like this.
No, normally it's the shower and the toilet all in one spot.
Yeah, I'd be all wet.
And you have to maybe put a curtain out in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And poop there also.
Yeah. So this is luxurious compared to some other rigs.
Yeah.
Not that we're comparing ourselves or anything. All right, so after walking through this space several times, we've realized that right there is not going to be very friendly.
Yeah.
So what we're probably going to do is rip across this line here, cut that off, cut the leg virtually in half.
At a diagonal.
At a diagonal. And then this will overhang a little bit and our line will go back a little further. So then the other material can sit nicely under that, like that does. So.
But we gotta go take a nap before we do that.
Sleepy time.
Bye bye. What are you doing?
As we were designing this, we got to talking and realized that this is a lot of wood, like a lot of wood, and that it would be fun to do some mixed media stuff. And we have this hilarious lid that we've been trying to find a place for our sawdust bin lid. And then we've also got this idea, we originally to put wood up here and kind of bend it to be the front curve of the toilet. Until last night when the front face of this kind of got scratched, and then we were trying to think of creative ways to kind of cover that up. So a creative way and something to kind of keep tying in this copper element into our build would be kind of like a curvy copper face on this, maybe something hand pounded. Yeah, so the goal of today would be to finish that and get a nice little hand pounded face on there, and then maybe even do a copper piece for the face of our sawdust bucket. Cool? Let's just cut it out.
I
See
think
what happens.
Cut what you need for the front.
Yeah.
And then we can get creative for piecing together the side.
Yeah, we want the front to be smooth so that it's easy to clean. We've also got our people looking into whether you can put epoxy on copper, because we're like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but we're gonna epoxy this entire thing after we put a nice wash on it. So a lot of good things coming up for this toy.
All right, so starting out, we gotta etch this one off and just kind of cut it down. So we'll get creative with what tools we use, because it's got to be able to cut through halfway through the leg and through there. We're gonna have to take it partially apart, but that is gonna be a toe stubber. It's gonna be a shin breaker if we don't do that. Now. Bye.
Adios.
Stencil time!
I love stencils.
She's a stencil girl.
I'm taping the stencil a bit loosely so that we have room for the copper to grow, and once we pound it, it's gonna expand in some places. It's also gonna kind of shrink in some places depending on how we bend it. So yeah, I'm adding some allowance for that with the template. So now I'm going to sketch in the little flange that we need to bend in between the two pieces of material. Just draw a little line there. And on the toilet seat part, I'm just going to make a little dent. That seems like it's worked out classically, historically, in the past, making a dent is a pretty good indicator where your line goes.
That's looking pretty good there, girl.
That's what I'm talking about. There, boom, boom.
Yeah, girl. Rocking it.
Oh, this is actually non-existent because this whole corner is gone. All right, put that there. There's our hole. All right, so we want a bit of a flange here. So let's do something like this. It's gonna be creative, okay?
Nice, and when you flatten that out, you'll have the size the piece ought to be, right?
Ought to kinda
And then just have it be a little bit longer on the sides and top.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's a great idea.
What do you think about that?
That's a great idea.
You like a little curvy?
The template wins again. She's excited, if you can't tell.
I love crafts.
All right, while she's doing her little tracing project, I'm also gonna trace. I'm going
little tracing project.
I'm tracing too.
Well,
I'm
he
gonna
does
trace
his
a
little
line straight
tracing
down
project.
where we need to cut. I'm sorry, what was that?
Well, Brian does his little tracing project. See, that sounds rude. All right, tell them what you're really gonna do.
So I'm gonna trace a line from this corner down to here so that we've got something to follow to cut this edge off. Okay, so I put a metal bit on here because there are screws that go through here, and instead of unscrewing them and everything just getting all floppy on me, I'm just gonna cut straight through them.
What?
All right, here we go.
Wow, Brian!
First part's cut through. I wonder what angle that's at. All right. Now we gotta figure out how to cut this. Maybe with the circular saw at an angle, possibly. Or we could do the jigsaw at an angle.
Does the jigsaw do that?
We shall see. All right, so now that we've done the jigsaw, we now see the angle that we need to set the circular saw to, so that the foot will lie flat here, but the blade will go at an angle, slicing directly through the middle of that leg and this outside surface, so that they're all in line.
Poor Brian has to take the top of this off again. Just one more time of taking it off. Actually, probably won't be the last time. It's actually a good thing. He's gonna take it off so he can get the corner off. And then once we get this front piece pounded out, we'll be able to bend it into place for the front, but we won't be able to permanently attach it yet until we do our whitewash finish on it and then a layer of epoxy.
So I'll probably just leave it off.
May as well.
Yeah.
Whoa, look at that.
There we go. That's right on. That is right on.
Bye-bye.
So what's cool is the screws are still in there and it's still holding the face on. So what we'll probably do is reinforce that edge with a bead of glue. So we'll back those screws out, put a bead of glue and put it back in, or we'll just cover the edges with glue. Actually, we'll just cover the edges with glue. That probably will be the best course of action for this. Yeah, that's great. And that lines up perfectly.
Look at that. Okay, so I traced approximately an inch wider than my original template. This is gonna give us a bit of space. I also gave about an inch extra room above my template so that we've got enough metal to bend under the lip and rim of the toilet. So now I'm gonna use the awl and I'm just gonna loosely trace around this edge and then we'll cut it out with the shears.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Do you think it would, because this is
I'm gonna go down under like that.
Oh, yeah, you're going bigger. Okay, cool.
I gotta go beyond the template because I didn't have enough paper.
Perfect.
But I
Cool.
can freehand that.
No, that's perfect.
He doesn't like
I see, no, I see what you're doing.
that much.
So you want to guillotine it along there?
Yep.
Yep, okay, cool.
Okay.
Good job.
Trust in the creative process.
What did you say?
Pardon?
You're talking shit.
I'm talking toilet humor.
She's talking shit again, folks.
Talking dirty old toilet humor. now I'm just making a little indent with the awl, and hopefully I can see it. Oh, it's pretty clear. All right, now we're gonna get creative at the bottom since our template has run out. Just gonna try to freehand a little bit of a curve. That's pretty good. And then connect my lines. Something I always find that helps when I'm drawing, trying to draw a straight line, is I rest my pinky finger out and then I kind of drag my hand with the pinky finger out, and then my pinky finger stabilizes the tool I'm using. I hope that helps you in the future. It helps me a lot. All right, now we're pretty much ready to guillotine this off, the long piece, and then cut this fun edge. So now that Brian's cut this edge, we've reconsidered our idea because I think we could wrap this kind of ugly edge with the copper. We have lots of copper on that side of it, the way that I laid it out. So, oh, perfect. It will, because I traced that. So it'll go like that, and then you'll see that. Well, you won't really see that. That'll just be covered, and then our bin will start here, probably. Or the bin can start here. Maybe the bin starts here.
So while Erin's getting the front piece ready and getting her bend lines all marked and start working on the front edge of the toilet, I'm gonna start working on the cabinet that's gonna be here on the side, which is basically gonna be like a metal bucket for the sawdust shavings or peat moss or whatever media we end up using here in our composting toilet.
Simply because I saw somebody else start in the middle.
Nice.
He also had like a little dented, wallowed out spot on his stump.
Are you gonna put green tape around the edge?
Ooh, yeah, I'll do that. Here we go.
How does that look on the back side? Nice. Those dents are so much nicer on that stump than the way we were doing them.
Then the sink. Maybe we'll repound the sink on the stump a little bit.
We could.
Just add some.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure how this part was gonna work, but now I'm using the flat edge of the hammer to just go along this edge, and that'll be the part that we secure to the front of the toilet. So let's see how it goes around the whole edge. I've just found like a little flat nook on my stump, and now I'm just gonna hammer it and holding this kind of up on an angle. There we go. I'm just gonna keep doing that. So braise it and then braise another like reinforcing pieces on it so it's a smooth top and not a lumpy bumpy top.
Yeah. Like a piece of flat stock.
Maybe, yeah. So we're really liking how this looks. Looks good, but a wee gap right here equals potential P-trap. Gap, P-trap. Don't like that. So, Brian had a great idea, right, Brian?
It was your idea.
Well, I wanted to put like a thin, like 1/8 inch piece of plywood right here, but we don't have an 1/8 inch piece of plywood on hand, and we need to get this project done so we can get you guys a video. So, this
is
piece of plywood is 1/2 inch, and Brian said, hey, why don't we plane it down and see if we can wrap it around. So we're gonna try to plane it. Wish us luck. That's what happened to it when he tried to make it bend.
I think if we would have soaked it in water, it might have made the bend. But I just tried to push it around the corner.
We are going to try to really secure the lid super tight with rivets. Our rivets are a bit short, so we were thinking we could possibly countersink them into the plywood, and then we're gonna put epoxy over the top of this thing anyways, so then we would just epoxy the top of the countersunk rivets. We just don't want any gaps. The goal is no gaps. The goal is to not have to take this thing apart to clean it, and that we would like only clean the WP thing, so the funnel. So that's the goal. Let's see if we can make it happen.
That one would probably work.
Okay. Did it work? Yeah!
Yep, it worked.
Even if it's not like amazingly solid,
I think with
more
all
solid than nothing, with a lot.
with several of them in a row. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it'll work there, Ms. Bick.
Fill them with epoxy.
And then fill it with epoxy. Yeah. So we might make it even more curved.
Okay, polyurethane caulking into this crease in between the WP and the copper, and then we're gonna pound the copper down towards the WP, hopefully to seal up that edge. After we get the old stuff off the tip.